Well, you didn't use the word servant in the framing of that question. And I think if we think of ourselves as pastors, as servants, servant of the word, which occurs not only but primarily as we serve the word in and through its proclamation, and a servant of the community, a servant leader, who is called not on behalf of the community, but with the gathered community to discern what is God saying to us, what is the Holy Spirit stirring within us, and beginning to help the people imagine what that life in the faith, Spirit-filled, Christ-centered life looks like in their context. Then I think there'll be intersections between what people hear in the pulpit and what they experience in this servant leadership with the pastor during the week. Sometimes I think we have such low expectations of the Holy Spirit today. I ask pastors, how many of you, when you get in the pulpit, expect that the Holy Spirit today, through your preaching, will add 3,000 to those who are being saved? How many of you expect that the Holy Spirit, through your preaching today, will unleash generosity in the hearers so that they'll go home and they'll bring back their bank books and their stocks and their gold and their silver, and they'll pool it together and say, now let's distribute this, each according to their needs? How many of you expect that there will be deep conflict and controversy in your congregation because of the word you're proclaiming over who's welcome here and on whose terms? I always go back to the book of Acts when I get discouraged about preaching, or I have low expectations of the Holy Spirit, or I think, oh, there's too much conflict in the church today, and think, you know, where the risen Christ is proclaimed and the Holy Spirit at work, it's going to get messy, there's going to be stress, but there's going to be radical change of human life as people live the new creation. So I sometimes say, does ELCA stands for expectations low, climbing anxiety, rather than Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Another little irritation I have for us Lutherans is we're stumbling over the word evangelical in this culture. You'll hear it in my sermon today, we so define ourselves by negation, how we're not like those others, rather than by proclamation and affirmation. What is this radical word of grace? I think there's a temptation to preach a kind of self-help gospel, a prosperity gospel, because we see what it draws in numbers and acclamation and affirmations for the proclaimer. But the radical gospel that we are saved by God's grace through faith apart from works of the law on account of Christ, that's the good news.